Hey guys, welcome to BTech. Basil here, and this is the Nexus 5X. The 5X is the lower end of the two new Nexus devices from Google. This one is made by LG. It sports a relatively flagship spec, nothing too cutting edge, but that's not surprising. This is a £300 device for the 16 gig version. This is the 32 gig version, and it's costing around £350. We picked ours up from the car phone warehouse. Given this unboxing video, let's take a look around the box. And on the front, you can see the X stands for 5X. You've also got Nexus 5X on there. Taking a look to the right, you can also see some barcodes, but there's also key product information too. It's made in Korea, 32 gig on board with 3 gig of RAM, and we have the ice blue version, and that's what you see on the back. Opted for this version specifically, haven't seen any other colors really, and this kind of minty green icy blue version reminds me of the old compact Z3 compact, gauging by what I can see here, but in the flesh it may be a lot different. Let's take a look. For starters, take the sleeve off, lift up the lid, and you're greeted by a piece of cardboard that says X, and you've got some neat, pretty attractive quick start guides, and this is an entirely visual thing, no real words, which is a nice feature. Inside the box you can see an LG power connector. You've also got a USB lead and the device itself. We can pull out the device, Nexus on the front, Nexus on the back, and can peel off the plastic. Actually, let's just slide it through and I can power it up. While I power it up, we can take a look at the box contents once the boot up screen finishes loading. So that was a pretty long boot screen. We can put the device to the side from now and finish taking a look inside the box. And you can see Google Play Music, 90 days. Every Nexus you buy comes with this 3 months pretty sweet deal, considering these aren't the most expensive phones out there. You've also got some literature as well as a nano SIM eject pin. So you can pull out the literature and it's literally just a safety and warranty card. Now, in addition to this, the USB lead is an interesting one because now we finally have a second device that uses micro USB Type-C for data and charging. And accordingly, we have a micro USB adapter right here from LG. This is a two-sided male-to-male micro USB as opposed to a full-size USB to micro USB combination. So that's an interesting one I haven't seen before. Moving everything through to one side though, and what you're really interested in is the device itself. You can see that 5.2-inch full HD display, front camera above, feels very similar to the Nexus 5. Very flat sides. You can see at the base is at micro USB-C and 3.5mm jack. Right hand side is a power button and a volume rocker. Up at the top you have no buttons but what looks like a microphone. The power button and volume rocker, plastic. Everything is plastic here, but it does feel like a very, well, actually the power button's not too prominent, so it doesn't really feel like you could press it in your pocket too easily. The volume rocker a little bit more prominent, but not brilliant. So that's a strike against it from the offset. On the flip side, you can see, like I said, we've got that ice blue color, and I actually really like it. You've got a fingerprint scanner, the 12.2 megapixel camera, I think it is, dual flash and laser autofocus as well. Ultimately, it isn't really a flagship price device, but with devices like the OnePlus 2 costing not much more than this. Actually, in fact, if you were to opt for the 64 gig OnePlus 2, you'd be paying less than the 16 gig version Nexus 5X. The 5X does fall under fire. It's got an 808 chipset inside, Snapdragon 808, so it's less powerful than the OnePlus 2. It's also got 3 gig of RAM for the 32 gig version, as opposed to 4 gig in the OnePlus 2. So clearly, while value for money is a big thing here, it isn't the best value for money. It's around 8mm thick, 7.9mm, so sufficiently thin, feels sufficiently good in the hand. You do still have that fingerprint scanner. Hopefully the camera will be a big improvement over past Nexus devices. 2700 milliamp battery under the hood too, so it's probably not going to last forever, but should hopefully get you a full day paired with that full HD display that isn't too big, and of course that Snapdragon 808 processor. Got a few devices in the background, as you can see, so we're just going to bring them into frame for a couple of size comparisons. This is the Honor 7 from Huawei. You can see the Honor 7 is a metal device, again not too dissimilar in terms of price, pretty much identical width and similar height. The Nexus is a little bit taller. The Honor 7 feels more expensive, but it also feels a bit bulkier based on the fact it is that cold, stark metal. Both 5.2-inch screened devices though. We can bring the Sony Xperia Z5 Compact into frame. This is a 4.6-inch screen device, and put side by side, you can very clearly see it's a significantly smaller device in spite of the fact it's got a similar capacity battery. Snapdragon 810 as well, so it's a more powerful device, but it is a fair bit more expensive. And finally, what we'll do is we'll bring an iPhone into frame. This is an iPhone 6S, and again, 4.7-inch display device, so it's quite a bit shorter, quite a bit thinner, and narrower as well. Again, given the metal body, it feels a lot more premium, but if you are looking at anything above 16 gig on this thing, you're going to be paying over £500–600, so it's a much more expensive device. Stay tuned to BTech. If you've got any questions about this, fire them in the comments section below. And if you like the channel, click a like and of course subscribe. That's how you're going to stay on top of everything we do. Thanks for watching.